what we'll be moving on to now will be the pairs I see potentials of a trading opportunity going into the New York session and probably going into the new week as well. The first pair we talked about is we talked about how the UK oil was going, and right now the UK oil is still moving as expected, and we talked about how we took advantage of the UK oil in that regard. On the Euro USD, we made mention of our expectation, how we expect price to come back into this demand zone or probably this trend line, after which we look for selling opportunities to move price to the downside. And the way things are going, it appears price is actually forming a reversal pattern around this point, which looks more like a double bottom structure, where we'll be looking for a breakout of structure. And if you're a counter trend trader, it will be an opportunity for you to take advantage of this short-term bullish momentum that will happen before we start seeing that bearish momentum based on structure. So that's that on Euro USD. Then on XAUUSD, we said, what did we see on XAUUSD anyway? I think I have the chart on here. I think we were using this. Okay, yes. So I said something about this sell. Oh, has it triggered? Come on. Yes, it's triggered. Okay, no, it's not. It's not yet. It's not yet triggered. So we have something like this. I said on a short term that I'm expecting price to come below, break down below this key level, and we saw that we've seen that breakdown the last three candles. We saw that breakdown, and we are waiting for a rejection of this area, a retest of this area to join the trend to the downside. However, it is pertinent to understand that anywhere around here is good for you to sell the the gold. This key level 1821, anywhere below this key level, you can even sell at this point and make sure your stop loss is right above this level. And one thing there is anywhere above is not good for us, but anywhere below here is good. So you can either hold on for price to come back up here a little and form some confirmation signals, or probably we just join right away, and if you're not patient, just run right away and take it, or you wait for price to come up, and if price doesn't come up, then you know you've missed it. We already made 3 successful trades on gold this week. We took this one, and this is another opportunity we have in here, and let's hope it moves the way we expected. However, I talked about the long-term perspective where we looked at the 3 hours time frame, and we said we expecting a bullish momentum on this one, where if we see a breakout of this trend line, a breakout of this structure, we might be looking for a bullish momentum at least to this area, where we'll be looking for selling opportunities considering the bearish momentum that have gripped the market since the beginning of the month. So that is what my expectations were on gold. So moving on, we talked about Euro AUD. I think, what did we see on Euro AUD? Okay, yes, that we had trade running and 5 positions running. I said advise that we move our stop loss to somewhere around here for the first 2, and let's see how price react at this point. And I also made mention of the fact that if we see price move into this area, this 1.5 area, 1.501 area, we move all stop losses to the 5th entry at this point, since we're already going into the weekend. That's that on Euro AUD. Then on Euro CAD, I shared, okay, we made profit on Euro CAD yesterday as we take profit 110 pips in 2 places. That's over 200, considering the fact that we entered 2 positions. And remember, we said during the beginning of the week that we have a buy opportunity zone at 1.356 area, which is around this area. So though we can see price is below that level, so that means the buy opportunity zone is probably extended lower. And then let's look for if we're going to have structures that will support a bullish continuation to the upside. So on the long term, the Euro CAD is bullish. My positions are bullish on this one, considering the reversal pattern we identified during the course of last week trading. So that is that on the Euro CAD. We were profitable on that one. And then we went to the GBP card. We talked about GBP card where I told you that I actually exited my trade at this golden zone area. this golden line area, and that was because of the multiple rejection of this area that I saw that made me close that trade. And I think I advise everyone to do that. But if you didn't do that, price is still moving accordingly, and we are like a few pips away from take profit target on the GBP card. On the GBP card, I still don't have any other expectation other than let's see what happens. Then on the Bitcoin, I said something on the Bitcoin that in the short term we are looking for ways to take advantage of a short-term downtrend. And on the I think on the 4 hours time frame, we identified bearish trend lines on the Bitcoin, and we want to be using that trend line as a guide going into the weekend. And what I said is that if you go down to the 1 hour time frame, much lower time frame, we want to be looking for a reversal pattern. For instance, this is what we have right now. We saw rejection of this trend line right from the beginning of the month, and we saw that how this trend line has been holding price action for some time before we saw the breakdown of that 30K level, which is a very psychological level, a retest into that line. Then we saw this boom down. Now price is back into that 30K level or right above, and which also shares a confluence with the bearish trend line we've identified earlier. So we want to be looking for a reversal pattern around this area to give us a signal that breaks through this key level, a retest into the structure, and a signal that confirms a trend continuation to the downside. So with this being said, I said the most comfortable area for any selling opportunity or any selling thinking is that we should look for below the 30K level. If price breaks through that level, is most comfortable to sell. But if we are still above that 30K level, the possibility for buy momentum to start coming in is very, very feasible. So for me personally, I still have a long-term bullish expectation for the BTC. And why is that? Definitely is obvious. Bitcoin is now very, very cheap. And when a commodity or instrument is cheap, which definitely pulls people from different aspects of the market to come in and buy things cheap. It's just a psychological thing. We love buying things cheap. Yes, that's that on BTC USD. Then we moved on to USD CHF, where I identified two buy opportunity zones, and we had the key level at 0.997, which shall be our guide. And we said we saw this impulse leg, we saw this impulse move, and we're expecting that price is going to be doing a retracement into one of these buy opportunity zone where we will be looking for reversal structures that will support a trend continuation to the upside. So in this one, we'll just keep our fingers crossed, be patient, and let's see how price action plays out as the day goes by. Then we moved on to Euro CHF, where I talked about the fact that we took a bullish opportunity on this one during the course of I think 2 weeks ago, and we were profitable. And since then, we've been seeing price coming back down, and now we have two impulse legs here. That's tongue twisting. So we had two impulse legs here. So we had one here, and I made mention of the fact that this looks more like an harmonic pattern, where we have this, and then probably might be expecting a cipher pattern thereabouts, where we'll be looking for structures that will support a trend continuation to the upside. So we really have a huge buy opportunity zone, but what plays out next week will now determine how we are going to trade this pair. So lastly, we talked about the New Zealand USD, where I said it's bearish and it's advisable to only look for bearish opportunities on this one based on what structure is giving us and how weak the Kiwi is against the dollar. Then we scale down to a much lower time frame where we identify a channel, and we said there is an economic release today. I think in the next 2 hours thereabouts, the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index will be released, and consensus is saying that it's going to be below the previous one, which is not a good sign for the dollar. But however, if results comes and it remains the same, I don't think it will have any effect on the market. And if it's better, positive, then we might be having a sharp that demand zone here, where we'll be looking for an outright sell, or if you are a patient one, you wait for confirmation to. But by the way, that's one. And then we had an opportunity where we might see a sharp rise into one of these trend lines. We now see rejection that support a trend continuation to the downside. Anyways, the price moves later on. Our profit target should be at this area, at least for the meantime, after which if we see a breakdown of that structure, then we can be looking for opportunities to join the trend continuation to the downside. So I think that is what I talked about so far, and it's good to know you, it's good to meet you today, and it has been a wonderful week for us. At least we had more profit than losses this week, which for me it's a good one, and we're hoping for a better next week. So till we meet again, I wish you a wonderful weekend and do have a wonderful rest and best of luck on the remaining session for today. Bye.